Congratulations, you have passed the National Council Licensure Examination for RNs. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Judy, and if you didn't know, I'm actually a registered nurse here in Canada. And today's video is dedicated to all of you procrastinating nursing students and nurses who are studying for the infamous and the most dreadful NCLEX exam. We've all been through it. We all know how crappy it is. You will get through it. In this video, I'm going to go over how I passed the NCLEX with only 2 weeks of studying and only used 2 resources. The 2 resources were Mark Klimek and UWorld. And I'm hoping some of my study tips can help you not only with studying, but can also save you some money as well in study prep. Oh my gosh, I should have never woken this dog up. Oh my gosh. We're just gonna push through the chewing in the back, okay? He's gonna eat when he wants to eat. But first things first, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're interested in seeing more content, and give this video a thumbs up if you end up enjoying it as well. Rocco, let's get into it. So a little bit about the exam. The NCLEX-RN exam is the nursing board exam, and it's basically a big safety test. It's a computerized test that's goal is to kind of gauge how safe you would be as a nurse in the field. So keep that in mind before answering any question. Safety is key. The test can be anywhere from 75 to 265 questions, and the computer will shut off whenever the hell it wants to. Just kidding. It'll shut off when it determines whether you've passed or failed. I have no idea how it determines that, but yeah, that's all the information that I have. Also, you have up to 6 hours to write the exam. And to be honest, there's not really a way to gauge how well you're doing. It's supposed to be set in a way where the more questions you get correct, the harder the questions get, but it's still kind of difficult to see because the question just might be hard for you, not NCLEX hard. You know what I mean? That's the nerve-wracking part of it all. In Canada, once you're done nursing school, they give you a provisional nursing license for up to a year. Within that year, you need to write the NCLEX exam or else your provisional license is over. You can't practice until you pass your NCLEX exam. In my opinion, I would recommend just getting it out of the way as soon as possible, as soon as you finish nursing school. Maybe even start studying it near the end of nursing school, because I took a bit and I regretted it. By the time I was studying for it and had to write it, I was already set into my job, I had extracurriculars, my life was already set. And to stop it, to write the NCLEX was just annoying. Just get it out of the way as soon as you can. So a little bit about my NCLEX experience. I took my NCLEX in February of 2022. I graduated nursing school in July, August of 2021. So I did take, January. I took about a 7-month break before I actually wrote the exam. My nerves were everywhere. Funny enough, I was actually trying to move the exam last minute. For some reason, there were no more dates for the rest of the year. So I was panicking because I was like, I need my license. My provisional is gonna expire within the next few months and I need a job. So the day of the exam, I get to the building, I'm walking in, and of course, I run into someone who's also taking the exam. We go up the elevator together, having a little bit of small talk. He's like, yeah, I've been studying for 4 months, heavy, full time, had to take a leave from work, and I've just been studying just in my books. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so great for you. I really hope you do well today. He's like, how about you? Have you been studying a long time? I was like, a little bit. And he's just like, at least a month, right? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Just that conversation was anxiety provoking, and knowing that people had studied for 4 to 6 months and I had only been going at it for 2 weeks was very intimidating. I'm telling you guys this just so you know that if you are studying last minute for this exam, it's going to be a lot more stressful than if you were to study a longer period. So not only did that situation stress me out, the entire testing environment was so strict, which made me stress out even more. I was wearing my blessed rosary that I always wear for everything, and they made me take it off. I literally had a hair tie on my wrist. They told me I had to either take it off or put it in my hair. So I put my hair up. What? And they told me I had to take my glasses off so they could examine it. So I put them on this silver plate, and they're checking them out like this, making sure I didn't write anything on them. I don't know. It just felt like I was walking into a correctional facility or something. It was just over the top. I was taking the exam, and then when I hit the 80 question mark, my computer shut off. At that point, I had been writing the exam for around 3 hours, which sounds like a long time, but honestly, some of the questions were pretty lengthy. You had to read a little bit of a paragraph and then go into your multiple choice questions. There were a lot of select. Yeah, there was just a lot going on with the exam. So it did take a long time, and I was reading really hard in every question before I moved on, because I don't necessarily remember, but I don't know if you could skip questions. So you had to answer these questions. Like I was not gonna skip any of these questions or flag them. Like I was just gonna go for it. I finished the exam feeling like I had no idea whether I passed or not even the slightest bit. And then the next day I received an email. I woke up and the email read, "Congratulations, you have passed the National Council Licensure Examination for RNs, the NCLEX-RN exam." That was amazing. My dog decided to join us. Hello, Rocco. Introduce yourself. Say hello. Don't be rude. Now to the part you guys have been waiting for. What did I use to study? I'm about to save you money and time, okay? First things first, that Saunders NCLEX book that everyone's telling you to get, that they're selling at your nursing school, that they're recommending on everything. Toss it. Don't buy it. Go sell it. You don't need it. I never read it. It's literally just like a textbook. And if that's your style of learning, for sure go that route, but it just has so much information that it's just so unnecessary. Like I wasn't able to read it and feel like I was learning something from it personally. Plus I was only able to sell it for like half the price, so don't bother. The next study material that you do not need is Barron's medication cards for the NCLEX. It literally just had medication cards like the ones you would write in nursing school. That one was also a waste of money. Don't bother, you don't need it. I sold it for $60, got a bit of money back, toss that one. Also, disclaimer, I'm just telling you what I used to study for the NCLEX in 2 weeks. Very, very last minute. If you're studying over a longer period of time, feel free to use other resources, grasp information from here, from there, from your friends, from other people online, for sure. Do what you need to do. I'm just telling you what worked for me. 2 weeks coming up to the exam when I was procrastinating like a fool, okay? I'm just trying to save you time, and that's that, okay? Like I said in the beginning of this video, I actually only used 2 resources. The first one being the Mark Klimek audio lectures, lecture 1 to 12, and his blue book along with those lectures. And then I used the UWorld NCLEX QBank. So let's get into how I used those. So Mark Klimek, if you haven't heard of him, is just known to have some really, really good comprehensive nursing review lectures. The audio for his lectures can be found on YouTube. Unfortunately, the ones that I use aren't available on YouTube anymore, but I've linked below in the description bar a couple of the resources that sound exactly the same. They're the same audio. You can use those for sure. With his lectures, he gives his students a blue book, which is basically a book that holds a bunch of NCLEX information that you should know, and I actually have it printed off. So it looks like this, literally. There's 756 questions, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on the questions and answers. These can all be found on Quizlet, and I have a printable version that I've also linked down in the description below, so check those 2 out as well. I would just read this, literally, just keep reading it, keep reading it, keep reading it. That's number 1. Now on to UWorld. The UWorld NCLEX QBank has over 2,000 questions, I believe, and with each question, they'll give you the answer and a deep dive into an explanation. They'll have some pictures, diagrams. It's really, really, really great. So 100% recommend UWorld. If you want, you can also purchase the plan that has 2 self-assessment tests, which mimic the NCLEX exam and basically tell you the probability of you passing or not. I bought both of them, but honestly, I feel like I could have just done with the one. By the time I was doing the second self-exam, I was just doing it because I had bought it, you know what I mean? So the plan that I bought was the one with the 2 self-assessments that came out to $249. But like I said, if you want to get just one, it's honestly a lot cheaper. It's $189. So save money on that and just stick to that one, okay? One thing I really urge you to take into consideration is that you're already going to be paying for the NCLEX exam. You're licensed right when you're done that, and save money where you can. The only resources that I needed, honestly, were Mark Klimek, which were free. The blue book I just linked to you down below is free as well. And UWorld was $189 if you only get that one self-assessment exam. So the most you should be spending for the NCLEX, in my opinion, is $189. Don't break the bank with taking different prep courses or buying different resources that you see people using. Just know what kind of study habits that you have and gauge what you need by that, if that makes sense. Now, how did I use these resources to actually study? What did my 2 weeks look like? In short, over the 2 weeks, I would first listen to the Mark Klimek lecture audio, and I would make cue cards as I'm listening to those lectures. And from then, I would do UWorld questions corresponding with the topic I just covered. And when I would do the UWorld questions, I would write anything that popped up, any new information that I needed to know, into a notebook just to review later on. So I actually made a Google spreadsheet for the topics that I wanted to cover. I'll show you guys in this video here. This is what my setup looked like. It was less of a schedule and more of a study tracker, which helped reduce my anxiety a lot. I was trying to lead more with the mindset of do what you can, and having everything laid out in front of me made me feel way better about my progress overall. So I knew I had to listen to every single one of the MK lectures, so I made sure that was my priority, and then I wanted to go through as many UWorld questions as possible. But since I was actually so short on time, I would get what I could from UWorld and move on to the next topic. So UWorld is actually split into different categories. There's the fundamentals, leadership and management, adult health, critical care, maternal and newborn health, child health, pharmacology, and mental health. So I would just do a few questions in each section because I was so short on time. So overall, I only did 960 questions, which is not even half. So I'll give you an example of what my study sessions actually looked like back then. So let's say today I was focusing on maternity, OB, and peds. First thing I would do is go on YouTube, find lecture 10, maternity, which is about an hour and 5 minutes long, and then lecture 11, OB peds, which is about an hour and 25 minutes long. And then while listening to these lectures, I would make cue cards on the topic. So these are a few of my maternity, OB, peds cue cards that I made, mainly the ones in pink, to be honest. If you color coordinate your cue cards by topic or subject, let me know as well. So for example, let's just say, fundus isn't palpable until week 12, the first trimester. Fundus reaches the navel at around week 20, 22, the second trimester. I wrote on the cue card the stages of labor and delivery, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, interventions for low fetal heart rate and high fetal heart rate, what to do in those situations. Honestly, at the end of the day, all these questions come back to safety. We want to make sure our patients are safe and cared for, not only in hypothetical situations, but hopefully it can transfer over into real world situations. This is what my stack of cue cards looked like after watching all of the lectures. It's a big chunk, but like not too much. After writing my cue cards, I would then head over to UWorld. I would click the maternal newborn health section as well as the child health, and then I would start going through questions. I would choose a random number, like 35 questions, and I would just click start and start doing my questions. The format that I actually liked the best on UWorld was the one where I would click my answer, click submit, and then the answer would come up with a full description, diagrams, whatever you would need to understand it properly. And it would also explain why the other questions are incorrect. So that's what I really liked. I liked getting that information right off the bat rather than waiting all the way till the end to skim through everything and get the answers then. Like, it just seems like I'm learning as I go. And then as I got the answers and explanations, I would write, for example, in my handy dandy notebook. This section was maternal health, L&D. Like, I would literally just write a singular point, no more than like a sentence, just because I wanted to keep it as concise as possible just for my brain. So this is what it kind of looked like. I'll just read a few of my notes for you. So pregnancy can increase white blood cells, watch platelets for epidurals, watch for baby cold stress, risk of respiratory distress and hypoglycemia. I also shorten words a lot in my notes. Like respiratory, I just say resp. Pregnancy, I just say preg. White blood cells, I just say WBC. I would literally just write vag fluid equals acidic, amniotic equals alkaline. I just put things in the shorter form or just use the acronym for it. Back pain, arrow, pressure to sacrum during contractions help with pain. So just little notes that I was learning as I went through those questions, and my entire notebook is full. Like, I literally tagged them all. I split up all the adult health sections as well, just because they're separated into body systems. So I would do immune, visual auditory, integumentary, reproductive, infectious disease, and I really wanted to keep things organized and together. So this is my Bible, basically, my NCLEX Bible. So after doing those UWorld questions, I would go back to my Google Slides and I would update the score on the sheet to keep track of my progress. As you can see, the trends, my scores were actually horrible, but it says on Google that 56% on UWorld is actually a decent grade. It's around 90% in the actual real world. So for me, as long as I was over 50% in those scores, I was a happy camper, okay? And at the end of the study day, I would review those notes that I just wrote real quick, just kind of skim through them. And then I would go over whatever cue cards I made, again, just skimming through them, not really testing myself on them, but just seeing if I recognize the answers, you know what I mean? Another thing that I did add to my cue cards were lab values, because damn, those are just memory. Mark Klimek actually gives a few ways to memorize certain lab values, so you can check those out in his lecture audio videos. At the end of the day, if there's something that you're still not understanding, you can't get it for the life of you, someone I would really recommend is Nurse Sarah on Registered Nurse RN. If you're in nursing school, you've definitely at least heard of her. She has a video on nearly every single nursing topic, so I will link her down in the description bar if you need some external resources. All of her videos are free. You can also go on her website and she has some more written work and some quizzes too, so check those out as well. And we've reached the end. So I really hope at least somebody was able to take something from this video and I helped you in some way, shape, or form. I know that studying for the NCLEX is it's extremely stressful and you feel like it's never gonna end, but it will at some point. You'll get it done and you'll pass. You'll get that email, that congratulations email that you passed, and it will be something that you will never have to do again. Hopefully, I hope, unless you're trying to like go internationally as a travel nurse, then RIP to you. I just really want to reinforce the idea of safety in this field. That's what they're really testing you on at the end of the day, if you can perform safely. And to be honest, this is not the end all be all deciding factor of if you're going to be a great nurse or not in the field. There are incredible nurses who have failed multiple times, and there's incredible nurses who have passed the first time. There's also horrible nurses who pass on their first time. It's all what you have to bring to the table, and employers will see that. If you end up using any of the resources that I mentioned or any other resource, let me know so I can pass off the information. And if you end up passing, also let me know. I was so excited when I passed. I could not fathom sitting down again and studying for another God knows how long. Like, I was just not mentally prepared to do that again. But yeah, best of luck to all you people studying right now. Have faith in yourself. You can do it. You will pass. Don't worry. If you end up really enjoying the MK lectures like I did, or the UWorld Q Bank, let me know as well. I really hope you pass, and if you don't, there's always next time. And that wraps up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.